are heading into overtime on 1620 The Zone.
Shock the system.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen
and John Schreiner.
Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. It is not a joke. There is another 2 hours of live radio here on 1620 The Zone. Tonight, I am Jimmy Allen. John Schreiner coming to you live from his house. Dan Campion coming to you live from behind the board. Tonight, we're brought to you by Bellevue University. Head over to bellevue.edu, register for classes, and become a Bruin tonight. We got a great show lined up for you. 3-point lines. Want the smoke and to be painted correctly. John Walker from the Omaha World Herald will join us to talk about the wrap-up of the Creighton season, his thoughts on the Jays falling to Tennessee in the Sweet 16, and a whole lot more. At 7 o'clock, we're going to buy or sell on topics around the sporting world, including Nebraska basketball playing on a Nebraska football Saturday, and a whole lot more. And then at 7:30, we're going to predict the draft order of the quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft. You can follow the show at After Hours 1620 on Twitter. Give Dan Campion a call, 402-951-1620. Before we get there, I'm sitting in the media room in Detroit, Michigan on Saturday, and I was talking to Tom Chattel, and Alex Drake kind of like tugs at my jackets and goes, "Look at this. KATV is getting ready to release the text messages between the Regents and some people in the know at Nebraska and Trev Alberts." John Schreiner, when you see these texts come down, and we'll take the spelling errors and the grammatical mistakes out of it, because that's a whole nother podcast. What were your first thoughts and reactions to the Board of Regents, whether it be Tim Clare or whether it be Governor Pillen, and the questions and the effort it looked like from this side? And I want to warn people, this is only one side of the argument. This is one side of the coin. What were your first reactions to those text messages?
My initial reaction was just that it smacks of desperation, first of all.
Yeah.
And my second reaction was like, this seems like it's coming way too late. Like, too little, too late is what I ultimately settled on as my feeling for this. If you're promising someone, like, look, don't leave, we're going to fix all the problems that you hate, it's too late. If you're already begging them not to go and promising to fix all the problems, you probably should have fixed all the problems a while ago so that they didn't get to this point where they want to leave. I don't know. It just made it pretty clear to me what the reason was, right? We tried to all guess at what the reason was, and there were many theories about why he was leaving. And I think it's pretty clear that the structure and the leadership of the university was not heading in a direction that Trev Alberts wanted to be a part of. I think that's fairly certain now.
I would be amazed if this wasn't the first time these narratives and these incentives were put in front of Trev Alberts. I would be surprised and amazed and blown away if this was a series of texts that look like this. It kind of feels like the university didn't expect him to ever leave, so they never made it a priority until he decided to go.
Yeah, and that's a good way to read it, I think, is that these are probably promises that have been in the pipeline for a while. And as you say, it's a situation where they never expected him to go, right? He's a Husker. His name's on the stadium, as we've heard so many times.
Sure.
So but taken for granted is another way to put it.
We have learned in the days since Trev Alberts decided to part ways that he had reached out to a couple other jobs. The Texas A&M job wasn't the only one that he had showed interest in. Would it surprise you if the people in the know, in power in Lincoln, had no idea that those meetings were happening?
I would not be surprised. No,
That's kind of how I felt too. But and then I saw these text messages, and I'm like, did nobody really have any idea that he was looking elsewhere? Because that's how this comes across.
Yeah, like they were caught blindsided by the whole thing. But yeah, it's also like, I mean, there's another way to read all this, right? That maybe this wasn't the first time that all these things had come up. Maybe it's not the first time that all these things were promised to be fixed.
Yeah.
And, like, we don't know, obviously. You said it's only one side of the conversation. We don't know if Trev Alberts presented these and then gave them ample time to fix the problems. Do we know that for sure? We don't.
Right.
Did he present the problems and then cut bait and run too soon? We may never know that. We may not ever find out how far back his issues with whatever they're talking about in those messages go.
How much different do you think we look at Trev Alberts now? I mean, from a standpoint of after these text messages, because I know there was a lot of people, and some of these people were already mad about him leaving in the first place, but there was a lot of people out there that were like, see, he got offered everything he wanted to stay, and he still left, and this is turncoat Trev, and it's his fault, it's his problem. He was given the opportunity to have everything fixed, and he left. Do you look any differently at Trev Alberts leaving after this? Because I don't.
No. There's a very old saying that says it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
Does it look bad that he left his alma mater in a job that he seemingly wanted and was wanted at? Yeah, it looks bad, but it doesn't change my opinion at all. There's also another layer to this whole thing. When you start playing politics in education, things generally don't go well. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't think we need to say much more than that.
I want to touch on it, though, too. And if you don't, that's fine. I just want to give my thoughts, because I understand that this is a state-governed university and a state-governed university system to some degree. It felt to me that when the governor got involved was when things sped up for Trev Alberts. Like, it just kind of felt like that was one of those things where there was maybe an unspoken line drawn in the sand of politics versus academia, and him not wanting the two thresholds to cross. And when they did, it was him said, and this is just me reading the room, that he just went, hands off. I'm good. I don't want to be any part of a campaign. I don't want to be seen talking to somebody that would benefit from talking to me in this chair. I want to be the head of the athletic department in Nebraska, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it felt like when somebody in the political realm, and I don't think it's something, I don't think it's there's a lot of thoughts out there that he has a problem with Jim Pillen. I don't think that's the case. I think it was a matter of, and I say that because that's how I feel. Like, anytime that I'm sitting in this chair and politics get brought up, jokingly or not, I walk away from it as fast as possible, because there's never going to be a benefit from crossing what we do into politics, from crossing what Trev Alberts did in the athletic department into politics. Nobody benefits from it, and everybody loses every single time. So I can understand that from that standpoint. But even reading these text messages, because even when like KTV showed all the text messages, and like I think 3.5 hours had passed between Jim Pillen sending this text message to Trev Alberts, where he wrote, "Just so you know, as news broke, Nebraskans are devastated. If you leave, if you leave, you represent commitment, grit, and determination. Leadership Nebraska is and loves about you." And then he waited 3.5 hours and corrected your to the correct version of your in a text message. You do that because you want somebody to respond. You don't care about the grammatical error. And I don't know if Jim Pillen sends that, if that's an ongoing conversation. That feels like hey, this is last ditch effort. We're throwing up a Hail Mary here. And I don't know. I don't know who benefits from this. And maybe it was just a matter of just trying to do everything you possibly can to try to keep the guy you think is the best fit for your athletic department going forward. And Jim Pillen's a former football player and gets how important it is to have somebody that understands the ins and outs and the intricacies of Nebraska football in that seat. Now, I wonder, part of me wonders if, when you see how Matt Rule conducts business and that you feel like maybe the right guy is in that seat, if the pressure to keep an athletic director maybe had fallen by the wayside. You feel like the power chair of Nebraska football is set, so the one above it maybe may not be as important. And I think that a lot of people, and this is why when we were having the discussion last week, I said, I think there needs to be an associate athletic director to basketball, because it feels like a lot of people have one box to check, and is football in a good place? And if it is, there doesn't need to be any changes or anything addressed.
Well, that box has a lot of money in it.
Agreed. And I understand that to some degree, but the one thing rich people love is more money. If you're out there fishing with one pole, isn't that a dumb way to fish when you can catch more? I just think that, and to keep the fishing analogy going, you could have a net versus one pole. And it's one of those things that I think we need to, the proverbial the people at the top of the food chain at that university need to take a look with broader strokes at how the successful university, like look what Alabama is doing right now. They have a team in the Final Four. They went out and hired one of the top coaches in America after losing arguably the greatest coach of all time. They're winning at multiple sports. And it just doesn't feel like that has ever been a priority around here.
Yeah, and I think partially it's because they've never really won anything of consequence in men's basketball. So it's hard to show any proof of concept of this is what it could look like. I mean, the fan support has always been there for the most part, save there was a stretch in the mid-'90s when it was pretty easy to just walk up to the door and get into the Bob Devaney Sports Center and go watch a Nebraska basketball game. I know we did it several times when I was in junior high, but I don't know, man. The whole thing, it's just an absolute mess. And it seems like there were so many people who made mistakes, took things for granted, acted irrationally. And like when you put all those things in a pot and stir them around for long enough, you're going to come out with a crap sandwich. And that's kind of what got served up. Like, it's what happened.
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's still, to your point, it's a big mess down there. And it feels like the football program has things going in the right direction. Obviously, the basketball team, both of them make the NCAA tournament this year. And it feels like things were heading in the right direction. And you've got a new athletic director that I don't envy him. I do believe Troy Dannon is a guy that can come in and do the job at a successful level and understands the Midwestern culture enough to get it here.
Obviously, really wants to be here.
But yeah, but like you would have said that about the last guy, and he left. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to believe.
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
if something else doesn't happen above the athletic director chair, and maybe even above the president, like if there aren't mass changes, nothing is going to change.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. Trev Alberts, from everything I understand, had trepidation about taking the Nebraska athletic director job because when he took the job at UNO and canceled football and moved to the University of Division I, everyone accused him of just trying to look good so that he could get the job at Nebraska. Uh-huh. And I think there was some trepidation on his part to take that job because he said for a lot of years that was not his goal. He was not trying to become the Nebraska athletic director. And then, you know, it just
nobody believes you, Trev, by the way.
Yeah, it just sort of fulfilled everyone's prophecy that he was denying when he took the job, right? So I don't know that the Nebraska athletic director was the job Trev always wanted.
Clearly not. I mean, he may have made it seem that way once he got the gig, but even if things were all sunshine and rainbows, I mean, it kind of feels like maybe something above that job was something he was always gunning for. Like Trev always came off to me as a guy that when we talk about the college football playoff committee, when we talk about whatever the governing body of college football is after the NCAA finally actually gets that long needed death nail in its coffin, is something in that role versus being just an athletic director. He kind of feels like a guy that has always wanted to maybe be bigger landscape, bigger picture type role.
conference commissioner, something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, when he took the job at Nebraska, I think I said this on air. I said if we ever lose Trev Alberts, I think it would be to be the commissioner of the Big Ten, and obviously that didn't be the case. But I mean, there's a lot of people out there that feel like there's a job bigger than the conference commissioner of the Big Ten. That's the commissioner of the SEC. And if Greg Sankey keeps shooting himself in the foot, Trev Alberts may be looking at that position. Hey, we're getting ready to kick off the tip-off of LSU, Iowa here. And we're going to talk women's basketball in the Who Wants This Smoke segment. There, speaking of things that need to be fixed, whoever is dealing with the NCAA and women's basketball, that's another person whose job I don't envy. But it feels like it should be really easy to figure out.
Speaking of which, next segment, do we want to hear from Vic Schaefer?
We always want to hear from Vic Schaefer. We always want to hear from you, 402-951-1620. We're going to give you the smoke. We come back. If you missed the opening segment tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/after hours. 1620 was brought to you by Caddyshack Bar and Grill. 2 great locations throughout the Omaha area, 117th in Blondo and 180th in Harrison. Stop by tonight and grab Jay's homemade meatloaf for just $10.95. Caddyshack is the official watering hole of After Hours on 1620. The Zone, the smoke. We come back. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Wedding season is upon us, and you know what that means. It's time to update that wardrobe. Jerry Ryan has been dressing men in the Omaha area for over 50 years, and you don't stay in business that long by accident. If you want the premier suit buying experience in the Midwest, you go to 78th and Dodge. It's Jerry Ryan. They dressed me for my wedding. They're getting ready to dress Dan for his wedding. They can dress you for your big day. Jerry Ryan's located on 78th and Dodge. Get your suit game right. Make sure your closet looks good for the spring as well.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cloudy and chilly tonight with a north breeze. Some drizzle, some fog, some scattered showers around lows into the upper 30s. Clouds around to start Tuesday, otherwise windy and chilly with a high in the mid-50s. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career and not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th in Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Are you ready Ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
When I heard the words, "you have breast cancer," I said, I have no idea what I'm going to do. My OBGYN called me and said, I know exactly what we're going to do, which led me to Nebraska Cancer Specialists. From day one, I felt that I was at the right place. There were some pretty rough times, but together we are stronger and they are there for you. You do not feel that you are alone. NebraskaCancer.com.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Boys, Angel Reese has got the memo that this game is an important one. She's out already asserting herself on the boards and making some plays early in this one as Iowa takes lead 5-2 over LSU. Caitlin Clark has all 5 points. For the Hawkeyes, we are brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all thing Bellevue athletics, you can download the BU Bruins app today.
The only question left is which coach is less likable?
Yes. The correct answer to that question is yes. Kim Mulkey has gone all green tonight. Apparently, she didn't get the note that it's April Fool's Day, not St. Patrick's Day. That is an ugly suit.
Apparently, she forgot that she left Baylor.
Yeah. Angel Reese is dominating this game right now, despite her team losing.
I mean, according to that Washington Post article this weekend, she's very aware that she left Baylor.
Very.
And so was the coach of Baylor, by the way. That was a big nothing burger. Let's see if her lawyers find anything to sue about in that one.
I don't know if Kim Mulkey is a video room rat. Like, I don't know if she spends a lot of time on the video boards, but you might want to stop 22 in white. She's really good. She didn't have anybody. Caitlin Clark just scored a basket without anybody defending her. It is time for the Who Wants to Smoke segment. We're going to pivot from one women's college basketball topic to another, and it's the NCAA women's tournament. High-level basketball, as we're discussing right now, high-level problems. The three-point line in Portland for the Elite Eight matchup between the Sweet 16 matchup between NC State and Texas had the three-point lines painted incorrectly. It's a problem for a number of reasons. One, they're the same exact dimensions on both sides of the court. So somebody had to paint these lines and then look at the opposite side of the court and go, yep, they look even. There was almost a foot difference between the lines. And it didn't, and here's the biggest problem. That's as big of a problem as you could have. There's a bigger problem. It took a fan pointing it out before anybody actually noticed this.
Yeah.
And for anybody that has seen the pictures, I'll tweet them out here in a second from After Hours 1620 on Twitter. For anybody that takes a look at this, it's pretty damn obvious. Like, I don't understand how this was missed. Now, hats off to NC State and Texas. They had the opportunity to postpone their game or play it out. And the positive to playing it out was both teams had to deal with the shortened line. And obviously it would have been equal opportunity for both, right? And they decided to do so. I could understand how this could happen if this was like the first game of the tournament. Now, it was the second one. It was the first game in Portland. I get that. But you knew this was coming. Like, you had so much time to, because for anybody that doesn't know, obviously the NCAA women's tournament, they get home court advantage for their first two games. But you can't tell me that you did at Portland, you didn't know this was coming. You should have had this done with ample time, ample inspections, and you're the NCAA. There's no excuse for this, in my opinion.
No, it's absolutely inexcusable. If this happened in the men's game, there would be an inquest and people would be fired and contracts would be nullified. Like, this would be a huge, huge deal. And in women's basketball, they were like, man, you guys still want to play? Like, come on, man. Like,
so, like, and I want to put this in retrospect because I know there's somebody out there that's like, well, you know, in Portland, they play pro basketball. The lines are much different in that case. Correct. But this is a city that has to paint lines for an NBA team. And I'm sure it's different people that did it. But there should be enough people in the building that would have seen enough high-level basketball to go, hey, in the women's game, they don't have different size lines on each side of the court, right? Like,
they make custom floors for the tournament, right?
Yeah.
I was about to say, do they even paint them on? I thought it was part of the like a quick lock system that they use.
Yeah, it's a separate floor that they put down with all the NCAA logos. And branding and all that stuff on. So this is down to whatever company has the contract to make that floor, but it's also like these things are supposed to be inspected when they're installed. The measurements are supposed to be taken to make sure everything's right. Like, there are so many layers.
It feels like
go through to fail.
It feels like they knew. It feels like they knew, and they went.
Think anybody will notice?
Maybe nobody will notice. We're talking about it right now. You have a situation where you have arguably the two most noticeable faces in the sport right now, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and arguably Kim Mulkey to some degree on the court. You have tonight. This is just one game. Tonight, you still get Paige Beckers versus Juju Watkins. And if you hadn't had a chance to watch USC women's basketball, it is Juju Watkins is amazing. She is the next star in this sport.
Yeah, Paige Beckers is no slouch either.
Right. But she's been in Connecticut for a while, and you still have Gino Auriemma. You still have everything that's UConn basketball going on tonight. But you have a young and up-and-coming star. You have a lightning rod and attraction in Caitlin Clark. And you're going to have more eyes on your product than you ever had before. And you went, yeah, they could deal with the short line. We'll ask them if they want to play for it. That's okay.
It's so sloppy. It is just insanely sloppy. No attention to detail. And I just can't imagine that, like, if it was the men's game, it would have been caught. They would have fixed it.
The thing that blows, like, this standing alone by itself is mind-blowing, right? But the thing that blows me away the most about the NCAA is both the NCAA and ESPN got killed and raked over the coals and added on Twitter ad nauseum when they decided that the ESPN didn't need to send broadcasters for the first round of the NCAA volleyball tournament last year. This is worse, in my opinion. You're literally affecting the game. That was bad enough as is. But you would think they would have learned their lesson that between not sending commentators, not having a proper weight lifting system or workout spots at hotels for these teams, like, people are noticing. This isn't just the Title IX sport that you don't want to deal with anymore. This is a main top 4, top 5 sports under your umbrella, and you need to start caring.
Well, they have not responded to the level of care that the broader college basketball, women's college basketball fan base is showing. Like, there are more people paying attention. There are more people watching. There are more people interested. And yet the number one broadcaster and the organization in charge of running the championships seem to have not caught up to the fact that, look, this is very important now. There are people who really care about this.
Yeah, we have a game on in studio here. They just zoomed out a shot of the crowd. There's not an empty seat in the house right now.
No, and look, that I think everybody expected that when it's Iowa and LSU rematching the national championship game. But not only that, but the amount of eyeballs that are on the game now, the level of scrutiny is going to be turned way up. So everybody's got to step their game up now. The broadcasting companies, the NCAA for sure, like, the coverage of the tournament has to be much better. It just, look, man, it's important. It's a big time event now. Get with the program.
Yeah, and a lot of the reason is because the stars are out on the court right now, and Iowa and LSU are putting on an absolute show. It's 20-14 Hawkeyes with 5 minutes to go in that. John Walker from the Omaha World Herald is going to join us next to wrap up Creighton season, talk about the future. We got a couple transfer portal movements and a few other things from the Jays today. We're going to get his thoughts on those and a whole lot more. If you missed the Who Wants to Smoke segment, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620 was brought to you by 402 Barbecue. You can stop by 3027 South 84th Street Monday through Saturday from 11 to 6. Try mine, John and Dan's personal favorite. It's the Cadillac sandwich. It's brisket. It's pork. It's topped off with their world-famous smoked mac and cheese. Make sure you mention to Kelly and the team. You heard about it on After Hours. They're going to throw in a free soda with a purchase and the mention of our show. It's 402 Barbecue. Stop by 84th and Spring and grab lunch tomorrow. We'll be right back talking to John Walker from the Omaha World Herald on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody. John Schreiner here for Pyramid Roof Contractors. The warm temperatures will be returning, contrary to recent evidence, and the little misty rain we got all day, that's just a preview of what is coming around the corner as we head here into the middle part of spring. So if you have questions about your roof, maybe it's getting a little up there in age, you wonder if it's going to last another season, well, find out for sure. Let the number one roofer in Omaha for 12 years in a row come out. They're going to diagnose the problem. They're going to give you the peace of mind, or they're going to recommend that you need to make some repairs, and they can do all those repairs. So check out pyramidroof.com and let the contractors at Pyramid Roof give you a free estimate today.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly trash or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. Two great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Sick of battling overuse injuries that keep you out of the game? Or are you too run down and exhausted to make the late season push? Stop out at West Omaha Cryo, specializing in modalities like cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen, Normatec compression, and full body light therapy. They'll have you back to competing at the highest level in no time. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and voted best of Omaha 4 years in a row, they're a game changer. Head to westocryo.com to book your visit today.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.636 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone. Brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking to attend classes this spring, head over to bellevue.edu. Register for classes today. Creighton wraps up their season with a loss to Tennessee in the Sweet 16, and the beat writer from the Omaha World Herald for the Jays, John Walker, now joins us here on After Hours. John, it's been a few days since I've seen you. How was the trip back?
Man, it was good. It was good. A long night on Saturday. Or Friday night, whichever one you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah, late Friday night, early Saturday. I went straight from the arena to the hotel, grabbed my bag, relaxed for about 30 minutes, and then went to the airport. So yeah, it was an unexpectedly long night / early morning. But how are you guys?
Okay, so a little peek behind the curtain here. So myself and Alex Drake get back from we go and do the post-game show. We get back to the hotel. We walk in. John is still sitting in the lobby working. You went to the airport after that?
Yeah.
Road warrior.
I finished writing. Yeah, I submitted my story. I FaceTimed my girlfriend for a little bit. She works kind of later nights. So I FaceTimed her for a little bit, and then yeah, I went straight to the airport.
Man. I thought we were crazy for getting up and driving back at 8 a.m. the next day. That's the red line's even better. hey, obviously you're new to the beat this year, and it was your first year kind of experiencing this team. How do you sum up this season, and can we say anything? Can we grade this season as anything other than a success?
Yeah, no, I think it was, and I think perspective is a good thing to have. I think people lose sight of that sometimes. For me, I'll talk from my perspective for a second. I was covering Oklahoma State before I came up to Omaha, and they were the first team out of the NCAA tournament last year. And then obviously I was here this year, but I still kept track of everything going on down in Stillwater. And they had a sub 500 season with a mess of a coaching search that somehow ended with the hiring of Steve Lutz earlier today. Yeah. That was my cap, by the way.
Yeah. Go ahead. We'll give you the soapbox. Feel free.
yeah. And so I think perspective is a good thing to have, because all things considered, how could you not deem your third Sweet 16 in 4 seasons successful?
Right.
Is that where this team wanted to end? No. And they'd be the first ones to tell you that. But to say that the season was a failure or anything less than successful is just a fib. IMO.
The best thing for me that Creighton men's basketball did this season was retain Greg McDermott. That was the biggest success that they had. Extend him. But my question is regarding, sort of along those same lines. I mean, this team made it to an Elite Eight last year with largely the same cast. It was, granted, it was a little tougher road, but I think for me and the way I'm interacting with Creighton fans, it seems to stick in the craw a little bit that they didn't at least get as far as they did last year. How do you assuage some of those disappointments for the fan base?
Yeah. Now I'll start by saying, I'm not a sunshine pumper, so I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't be upset, because no, there's a part of it that's absolutely right. Let's not forget that this team all season talked about, and I learned that they kind of talked about this through the preseason even, that we came up shy, about as shy as anybody could ever come of the Final Four. We want to get back to that. And in the process, we want to win the program's first Big East tournament, at the very least, if not the regular season, right?
Yeah.
They were very adamant that those were the expectations. And so we're not wrong in saying that, yeah, they fell short on those. And people have a right to kind of have their angst and frustration about that. But, just kind of like I said, I'll also say that, yeah, you pointed out the road in the tournament this year was a lot tougher. I know Oregon wasn't the Akron matchup, that they handled that one how they should have. The Oregon matchup, I think everyone in the country knows that Oregon was probably a bit underseeded, and everyone can thank Bid Steelers this year.
Yeah.
Probably a team that, we saw deserved to be in that 8-ish range. They played like it anyways. And yeah, and then, you're not playing Princeton in the Sweet 16. You got SEC, the SEC champs in the Sweet 16 this year. So the path was a little bit tougher. And I hope people realize that when they also, kind of justifiably feel okay in being frustrated that they didn't get to the Elite Eight and they didn't get to the Final Four. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. But yeah.
We obviously have flipped the calendar now to transfer portal season. Brock Weiss, Jonathan Lawson, and now Josiah Dotzler have all entered the portal, with leaving 11 scholarship players on the roster, with the addition of Sterling Knox, who redshirted this season, and then 3 incoming freshmen. If I give you the line of 10.5 for the guys that are currently on scholarship, do you think we hit over or under going into next season, the guys that are currently on the roster?
Currently on the roster.
So that would mean at least 2 more guys would transfer out.
Right. Yeah, that's tough, because we've seen I kind of got my head bit off about I'll start here. We've
Sure.
kind of seen that, like, Trey Alexander is kind of a misfit in the NBA draft mocks. And what I mean by that is, in some of them, he'll be a tail end of the first round. In most of them that we've seen over the last couple of days, he's not included whatsoever for whatever reason.
And I've seen him as a lottery guy in another one. By the way,
exactly. It's so weird. So I think NBA draft misfit is the perfect term for kind of his place in this draft. Now, I'm sure front offices view him one way, way differently than we all view him, and mock draft view him, and whatever. But there's no real certainty on what him and Ryan Kalkbrenner get in terms of feedback in the NBA draft. We saw with both of those guys last year, they went and got feedback, didn't like what they heard, or teams said, hey, we need to see this, this, and this from you. And they came back and we're pretty damn good all year, both of them. And so does that happen again? I have no clue. I'll take we're at 11, so 2 would have to leave, right?
Yep.
You know what? I'll take the over. I'd gamble on the chance that they come back, I think.
Okay.
But I also have no clue.
Interesting. That's interesting. What do you make of the decision by Josiah Dotzler to enter the transfer portal?
Yeah, that's tough. That one was a bit
unexpected,
of a surprise.
right?
Obviously, right. Yeah, I didn't. Truthfully, full transparency, I think somebody had asked me earlier today, and I don't think I got around to replying to the tweet, but they asked me if I thought it would be Fred King or Sterling Knox next. And I figured if it was going to be one of those, and then I started to think about the guards, and I was like, okay, well, Josiah probably wouldn't leave, and Jonathan already left. So yeah, maybe it'd be Sterling Knox, right? I didn't expect it to be the hometown kid, not at all. And so yeah, I didn't really get to cover his recruitment and everything because I just got up here.
Yeah.
But everyone says that he's kind of like loved in this area. Was a real good hooper in high school. Obviously, won a couple of state championship, a couple of them. So that one was a bit surprising.
Yeah, I always I think like when we break down this roster and looking at Sterling Knox, I just have a hard time believing that he's going to transfer out just because he did choose to redshirt this year, and there was a discussion had between him and the coaching staff. So I don't know why he would go unless they bring in somebody. And I know there's a lot of talk about a contingency from Virginia Tech that's looking around, and I know there's a lot of people in that feel like there's a couple spots that may be taken up here in the next couple of days, but. I would be really surprised if he's a guy that decides to walk away. But you did bring up Fred King, and it kind of feels like especially if Ryan Kalkbrenner's back, but maybe even if he's not, that Fred King will be back next season. Do you read that the same way?
Yeah, I think especially if Kalk comes back. I said on Twitter earlier today that I think they need to go get portal bigs, Kalk or no Kalk, because I think there's a not that I've talked to Fred or anything, but just kind of, reading the situation as it unfolded, him kind of losing a little bit of playing time down the stretch. I mean, there is a very clear chance that Fred King transfers. And I think we all know that. And so that's why I kind of think, Kalk, no Kalk, which I don't think we'll know until the withdrawal deadline on June 16th. They've got to kind of have a little bit of insurance and go ahead and get a portal big, I would think. And we kind of saw with the lineup this year that there would be times where they'd run into, I don't know, a UConn with a Klingon, with a Sampson as well. And they couldn't defend both of them at the 4 and the 5. So if you had a portal big that could play the 4 even, and then Kalk came back and played the 5, I mean, that'd even be best case scenario.
Is there anybody in particular that you're hearing through the transfer portal that Creighton may be in on or interested in?
Not in any bigs, not anything that hasn't already been out there, truthfully. Dante Maddox, there's mutual interest there. Very obvious mutual interest with Zeke Mayo, although I think he's probably headed to Lawrence, right? That's home. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, he put Creighton in his top 4 for a reason, so we'll see. But no, those are kind of the guys. I would love to see them get, oh my goodness, the James Madison guard, Terrence Edwards, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think that, like the other couple of JMU players have hit the portal so far, I think they're probably going to go to Vanderbilt with Kington.
I'm just wondering, and obviously the roster decisions have to play out before we can get a solid read on it. But as a baseline of expectations for next year, where do you come in, John?
Yeah, that's a good one. I truthfully hadn't thought about that yet. Just kind of spitballing, like off the top, I feel like the NC, like getting back to, as the roster stands right now, like getting back to the NCAA tournament is the benchmark. I think everyone's going to understand. Now, if they return Trey and Kalk, this is an entirely different conversation that we'll have.
Sure.
But, just kind of assuming they leave and it's a transition year and, whatever it might be, you have to get back to the tournament. That's kind of the standard you set for yourself. Max too good of a coach at this point in his career. They're kind of respected enough around the country for a reason. So yeah, I think they'd have to get back to the tournament is kind of the benchmark. That would be a pretty good transition year with a lot of new pieces and a lot of new roles for sure.
You kind of already mentioned it, but I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, you brought up the Steve Lutz hire at your former stomping grounds. How do you grade that hire, and how do you feel like they got to that decision?
Man, yeah, I don't want to discredit Steve Lutz whatsoever, but as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, that process was like such a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that outside looking in. I'm saying that is like I still talk to people down there, and yeah, the whole thing was a mess. They knew that they decided to fire Mike Boynton kind of like within the last week or so of the season, or last couple of weeks of the season, and then that happened, and all of their candidates just boom, other school, boom, other school, boom, other school. So then they were kind of sitting on their hands for a little bit because they had to take the time to identify the right candidate.
Right.
And then, yeah, it seemed like they narrowed it down to Ben McCollum and Steve Lutz, because Ben McCollum, the OSU search had been really quiet. And Ben McCollum gets hired at Drake earlier today.
Yep.
And about an hour later, Steve Lutz is announced the coach at Oklahoma State. So just kind of reading the tea leaves on that one, it seems like those were the final two candidates. I loved either one for the Pokes. That town is hungry to get back to the NCAA tournament, and Steve Lutz has taken 2 straight schools. So I think they'll love him. It's a great hire for Oklahoma State. I hope that since it's a Big 12 caliber job, they can hang on to him for a few years. Because I think he could obviously do something pretty special down there in Stillwater.
It's John Walker from the Omaha World Herald. He covers Creighton. Do we know what the plan is for you now that the Jays have wrapped up the season?
Yeah, I'm kind of on baseball standby.
Okay.
And I am obviously on portal standby and recruiting and all that good stuff.
All right, buddy. Well, hopefully we have some baseball and some portal news to talk to you about next week.
All righty, guys. Thank you.
That's John Walker. You can find all of his work by John Walker on Twitter. You can follow it at omaha.com as well. If you missed this segment tonight, you can listen to it at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Going Vertical. Going Vertical Omaha is the premier training facility in the Midwest, working with athletes as young as kindergarten all the way up into the pros. If you have a high school athlete in your life that could benefit from getting some extra work on the hardwood, check out goingverticalomaha.com tonight. We'll be right back finding out what's trending on social media here on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Dan Campanen here, and I want to tell you about my favorite place in the entire Omaha Metro. There are 10 of them. It's Pepper Jack's Grill. I can go there at any time of day and I can get exactly what I want the way I want it. And for me, because you've been hearing me talk about it forever, it's a steak gunner Philly with double the meat, double the cheese, all of the vegetables, including those delicious mushrooms, and just a splash of that jalapeno juice, because sometimes I just need to wake up a little bit more during my day. So why don't you do just like me and go try their fries tonight?
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with after hours. Thursday is spaghetti night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Sick of battling overuse injuries that keep you out of the game? Or are you too run down and exhausted to make the late season push? Stop out at West Omaha Cryo, specializing in modalities like cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen, Normatec compression, and full body light therapy. They'll have you back to competing at the highest level in no time. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and voted best of Omaha 4 years in a row, they're a game changer. Head to westocryo.com to book your visit today.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Wrapping up the first hour. 1620 The Zone brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking to sign up for spring classes, go over to bellevue.edu and register for classes today. Dan Campen and I would ask you what's trending on social media, but the Twitterverse is a fire. Give us what you got.
Yes, I think we all know exactly what is going on right now on Twitter, and it is the fact that Iowa and LSU are playing. If you haven't heard about it, you're going to hear about it right now.
Well, that's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's teams. I've heard of them.
They are what some would consider stars.
Yeah.
Stars of their sport.
Many would consider.
But the biggest storyline right now is going to be Angel Reese's defensive effectiveness, as about 2.5 minutes of game time ago, she went down awkwardly on a layup, or awkwardly on a block on Caitlin Clark, left the game for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, was limping back in, and seems to be flagging quite a bit right now on the offensive and defensive end. Plus, they're letting them play today.
Oh, you don't have an actual clip for us?
Oh, do you want an actual clip?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you had one. I apologize. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong here, and because we're trying to talk to John Walker, and I was trying to watch this at the same time. I believe she was wearing a leg sleeve, and now she's not. Is that do we have confirmation of that?
She has gone with the single leg sleeve on the left leg tonight.
She had that at
just the one
beginning of the game, and I think it's gone now.
Did she take it off?
I don't know if that's due to the injury. She may have put it back on. I'm not sure what the situation is there. But John, you have this game on at home?
I don't have a TV in my office. So.
I got you. It's been really good and high competition level too. Caitlin Clark has made some pretty outstanding shots, and LSU leads with 3:02 to play. Or, no, I'm sorry, it's halftime now, right?
It is about to be.
Yeah, sorry, 38-37 with 3:02 to go in the second quarter right now. LSU has the lead, and Caitlin Clark has hit a few shots from around about 964 feet away. And then Angel Reese has just been absolutely dominant. I'm sure somebody out there thought we were going to get to the clip because there was one where Angel Reese kind of how do I put this politely? Shoved Caitlin Clark about 18 feet. And listen, it's basketball. Let them play. It's a physical sport. But I'm sure somebody out there is very aggravated and angry about that.
Oh yeah, they have not been afraid to swallow that whistle just a little bit more tonight than you would think.
Angel Reese just walked out of the huddle with a massive limp too, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. The sleeve is back on; it has returned. She took it off for a minute and put it back on. I don't know if maybe a brace or something or some sort of wrap got put back on, but she's heading to the free throw line right now, and she walked out of the huddle with a massive limp. That will be something to keep an eye on. You can always
and she taped her shoes.
That
is different. She's got tape over the
that's probably why she took the sleeve off, because she had to get the shoe off too.
The midsoles of her shoes right now. Oh.
If you've missed any of the After Hours Lounge tonight, want to check out any of our previous shows, you could do so at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. That segment was brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If you Google your business right now and you don't like what you see, do you know you could change your Google page? You can improve it. You can get better viewers. You can get better 5-star reviews. There's a whole lot of things that you can make better about your business today. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details. We'll be right back. Buying or selling here on 1620 The Zone. Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Forsman's Finest Decks. It's a little chilly outside right now. We got a little bit of mist in the air. You want to be able to sit out on your patio and not worry about the rain. Maybe you have a deck, doesn't have a cover on it. Let Forsman's Finest Decks come build your dream deck experience this spring. Head over to forsmansfinest.com and add that something that your house has been missing. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream deck built this spring.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at bubruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Sick of battling overuse injuries that keep you out of the game? Or are you too run down and exhausted to make the late season push? Stop out at West Omaha Cryo, specializing in modalities like cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen, Normatec compression, and full body light therapy. They'll have you back to competing at the highest level in no time. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and voted best of Omaha 4 years in a row, They're a game changer. Head to westocryo.com to book your visit today.
When I heard the words, "you have breast cancer," I said, I have no idea what I'm going to do. My OBGYN called me and said, I know exactly what we're going to do, which led me to Nebraska Cancer Specialists. From day one, I felt that I was at the right place. There were some pretty rough times, but together we are stronger and they are there for you. You do not feel that you are alone.
NebraskaCancer.com.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
It's 7:05 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone. Brought to you by Papillion Sanitation. If you're looking for a new career, head over to papillion-sanitation.com tonight. Sign up to become a driver. Even if you don't have a CDL, they will help you get one. It's up to a $10,000 stick-around bonus as well. Iowa leads 45-43 in the Elite Eight game between the LSU and the Hawkeyes with 7 seconds left before halftime. It is time for Buy or Sell with Dan Campanen.
Yes, there was a lot of speculation that Terrence Crawford would fight Tim Tszyu, but
Close,
he lost.
no cigar, but good.
Hey, he lost to Sebastian Fundora anyway, so who really cares?
That guy
After
sucks.
the fight, Errol Spence jumped into the ring and called out Fundora. Buy or sell that Terrence Crawford should get the first crack at the light middleweight belts.
Well, Terrence Crawford didn't wait very long. He took to Twitter and I'm paraphrasing this slightly, but said basically losers go to the back of the line. And then he told Errol Spence that he looked like a linebacker, which he didn't really miss on there because Errol Spence put on some old LBs since that fight out in Las Vegas just a few short months ago. And as somebody that can be talked about adding LBs, I don't feel bad in saying though. Errol Spence did not look like he was in fighting shape, and he just recently fired his trainer and is trying to kind of revamp his career after that loss. Man, I'm never somebody that likes throwing dirt on somebody's career. I think after the outing he had in Vegas in July, after the car accident, I'm never going to hate on somebody trying to make money, but it may be an Errol Spence's best bet to maybe hang up the gloves.
And it was all set up, right? Like the Crawford-Tim Tszyu fight was supposed to be the next thing.
Yeah.
It was like seemingly in the works. They were just
a lot
about
of people said done deal.
Yeah. At the very least, they were almost agreed. And then Tim Tszyu didn't hold up his end of the bargain. So,
right.
Look, I think that
really quickly, I'm sorry. And I think that might be a lot of the reason that Errol Spence may have jumped in the ring because him, he may have already had something in the works with Fundora, and it just happened to be that Fundora got the win in this situation, and it may have thrown a wrench into the plans. But I would be surprised if Errol Spence is the next person up for a shot at a unified championship in a weight class he's never competed in, coming off of a loss.
Yeah, well, boxing likes to make money, and Terrence Crawford fighting for a middleweight belt would make them money. So I would buy it. I think he's probably next in line.
Yeah, I think he gets the shot as well. Dan?
Yes, the next question. A car that belongs to Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice was involved in a crash in the Dallas area on Saturday morning, and Dallas police are searching for Rice. As of the time of writing this, he has not turned himself in. The crash injured a Dallas woman and her 4-year-old son. Buy or sell, this incident puts more pressures on the Chiefs to draft a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft in 24 days.
I think it absolutely does. I mean, it's to some degree because I think they're going to get a plethora of guys that want to come play with Patrick Mahomes that are willing to maybe not necessarily get paid a boatload of money. But I think it may even put a little bit of an emphasis on the Chiefs to move up and possibly trade up in the draft at this point.
I don't know how you could have much more pressure on the Chiefs to draft a wide receiver in the first round than there already was.
Right.
I think that was sort of like maxed out. The meter was pretty much pegged on you must do this. So, but it certainly makes things interesting because Rashee Rice was a guy who looked to be coming along late in the season, looked to be one of those guys that
the guy
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes love to have, speed guy on the outside. And now this, like, man, it's a bad situation. So, yeah, I think absolutely they're going to have to look at getting receiver in the first round.
Dan?
Next question.
Yeah. Or do you have takes?
Not really.
No, takes.
To call this a crash is to kind of minimize what happened.
Yeah.
Because this was a full-blown car wreck. I don't know if it was Rashee Rice, but the car that was registered to him
had 4 people in it.
Definitely had 4 people in it and caused a lot more damage than just the 2 injured people. But yeah, the Chiefs need to draft a wide receiver. They need to, they could easily trade for one. That's the biggest thing is you could give up
some cap room now.
You could give up a bunch of picks and, trade for 2 or 3 good wide receivers because let's be honest, old Stonehand wide receiver room isn't going to work out for you for many more years.
I don't know. They just won Super Bowl with that, but
how much you want to bet he's trying to get one of his buddies to take the fall for a drunk driving charge?
It kind of fits like a glove at this situation, but I don't want to speculate.
I'd put a 20 spot on it. I'd be willing to lose $20 over that.
Yep.
But speaking of losing $20, Nebraska and Creighton's basketball seasons are over. So it's time to talk about scheduling. Creighton and Nebraska are slated to play in Omaha on the 23rd of November. That is a Saturday in Nebraska. The football team plays Wisconsin and Lincoln that day. Buy or sell this being a bad scheduling move by the 2 teams.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, do this in October on a Thursday night. Do this in October on a Wednesday night. This is just such a bad look for everybody involved. Like everybody understands the narrative around this time of year. Nobody's ready to flip the calendar to basketball season yet. It's a bad marketing move, in my opinion.
Are they potentially trying to do the double feature?
That's the only thing that would make sense to me. Is maybe you do the football game during the afternoon and then the basketball game at night.
An 11 a.m. kickoff for Wisconsin and a 6:30 tip for Creighton, Nebraska.
Yeah, but the game is in Omaha, so
sure.
It kind of feels like it's defeating the purpose, in my opinion. But I hope that's the case. I hope we're talking about a situation where they're going to base the time of the football or the basketball game based off when the football game ends. That's about the only thing that makes sense. But it just feels like an unnecessary risk, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great, honestly. And I don't know. Was it the only day that they could fit it in? Who knows?
That's about the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but it's not good for either one, really. Because Nebraska football fans are going to be in Lincoln watching football. And most of the Nebraska football fans are the Nebraska basketball fans. Oh, by the way, a lot of those Nebraska football fans are also Creighton basketball fans. So the appetite for this, even if it is like a 11 o'clock, 6:30 doubleheader,
not great.
I don't know.
And it's still November basketball.
The CHI might not be as full as it normally is.
Dan?
Could be kind of nice, to be honest. A quiet CHI for, the in-state rivalry. But moving on to
Husker basketball, Dan.
Budding rivalry as well. We are an hour into, and technically we're at halftime of round 2 of the LSU versus Iowa game right now in the Women's Elite 8. 45-45. Buy or sell, this game is living up to the hype.
No, it is not living up to the hype. It is superseding. This game has been nothing short of fantastic and has the feeling of a national championship game about it. This has been fantastic. I buy. I sell because I'm buying that it's even better than it's been anticipated to be.
On pace to be 90-90 and going to overtime. Yep, I think that's fine.
That'll
live up.
Dan, your thoughts on the game so far? We kind of cut you off when we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, so far, I am just kind of in love with it.
Yeah,
this is everything that I kind of hoped they would let this game turn into from an officiating standpoint, with just the fact that they're letting them play. They're letting them be physical. It was interesting earlier. I think it was about right towards the end of the first quarter. There was a huge, and it would have, in the men's game, it would have been called a charge. It would have been called a blocking foul. One of the two. would have gone blocking because her feet were not set.
Okay.
No matter what Lisa Bluter's face says, it's her feet were not set.
Her face says a lot
But
of
is
things.
it Big Ten protocol? Is what people are asking.
The answer to that is no. But I mean, it was kind of an obvious foul call, either one way or the other, where, you know, you could have sent someone to the line, you could have made him take it out from the side, and they just let him play on. They said, get your butt off the floor, and, you know.
They've also missed about 4
Keep
travel
playing.
calls, but that's neither here nor there. Last one, Dan.
Last one. The Yankees are 4-0.
They
after
are.
sweeping the Astros this weekend, and the Chicago
Gross.
White Sox got swept by the Tigers.
Also
and had
gross.
to play the Braves today. Buy or sell, your teams are as good or as bad as they seem to be through their first series of the weekend.
John, you want to take it first?
I don't think the White Sox are as bad as they've looked so far. I think they're going to be a little bit better. This is never a lineup that was going to hit for a high average, wasn't going to score a ton of runs. You just kind of hope that the pitching staff could hold it down. That did not happen through the first weekend. Look, this team always had the potential to be one of the worst teams in the league, but I don't think they're as bad as they've looked this weekend.
Are you aware they lost 9-0 to Atlanta today?
Yep.
Okay, just checking.
Atlant's real good. Atlanta
by
is
the way,
like
spoiler
real
alert.
good.
I saw
Chicago White Sox not real good. So that's not a surprising result, and I don't think it's indicative of what the record for Chicago is going to
Do
be.
they finish last in the Central?
No, I'll say no. I think
I was wondering who you were going to go with.
Yeah.
because I think they finished last in the Central.
because the Twins are pretty good. They might be
Royals
better
are
than
pretty good.
They
Yeah,
might be better than the Royals in the long run.
Oof, I don't know about that. I'm selling on my team as well. As much as I'd love to sit here and beat my chest, say the Yankees are going to win another World Series, I still have a ton of question marks about their pitching. No starter gave up fewer than 4 hits and 3 runs. I like the offense, but the pitching wins games in August and September, and this team still has a ton of question marks in that rotation and in the bullpen. I think they're good enough to compete for the AL East. I just have a lot of question marks about this rotation right now. Dan, you want to weigh in on the Twins?
Yes,
You wanna
for the
talk
record,
trash
I
talk
won-
our teams and not say anything about yours.
I 100%
100%.
buy on the Twins right now because they are 2-1, and their weekend series with the Royals did not surprise me whatsoever. It was close game, another close game.
Did you talk trash to Connor Happer?
I did not, because I think last result is most important result. And on Sunday, we got a butt kicking. We didn't put up 1 run the entire game. And to be fair, my worries about my Twins are kind of the same worries about your
They have
Yankees.
the same question
Jimmy,
marks. Yep, for sure.
where it's okay, we can get maybe 2-3 guys in the starting rotation who, you know, can put up some decent numbers, but a boy got hurt in his first game. Johan Duran is not ready to go for the season yet. And to be fair, we relied on him pretty heavily last year as our
We, huh?
closer. I mean, I'm a Green
He's
Bay
a wee
Packers
guy.
So any team that I root for is a we team after being a Packers fan my entire life, because I
Right.
own part of the Packers. So I feel like I own part of the Twins. But once Duran gets back and is healthy and can take maybe 2 or 3 innings every like week or so on the bump to close it out, I think we'll be in a better place.
Well,
We definitely
Dan,
won't be last place in the Central.
I feel like I own part of Berkshire Hathaway. My bank account disagrees.
Well, I can run down to 52nd Street and throw rocks at Warren Buffett's house and tell him, hey, you know, you got to give John Schreiner money.
Hey, drop the sales package while you're there, Warren. If you want to sponsor the show, we'd love to have you on it. You know who does sponsor this show? The Omaha Supernovas. And if you ever want to check out any of our show, you can listen to it at soundcloud.com/ After Hour 1620. It was brought to you by those same Supernovas who have a matchup at the Chai on Thursday against the Mojo of San Diego. And if you missed the first game between those two, excuse me, they play the Mojo tomorrow night. They play the Columbus Fury at home on Thursday. If you want to check that game out at the Chai at 7:00, you can do so by heading over to supernovas.com tonight and buy your individual tickets for the remainder of the season. Check out supernovas.com for more details about your pro volleyball team. We're giving you our trash takes. We come back on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Dan Campenden here for Caddyshack Bar and Grill. They have two amazing locations at 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. If you stop out tonight, you can grab a plate of Jay's Famous Meatloaf for just $10.95 and grab a bucket of domestic bottles for just $17. Caddy Shack Bar and Grill is the official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Cloudy and chilly tonight with a north breeze. Some drizzle, some fog, some scattered showers around lows into the upper 30s. Clouds around to start Tuesday, otherwise windy and chilly with a high in the mid-50s. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly, trash, or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the brick and mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Hey fellas, listen up. Are you or someone you know ready to make that big day unforgettable? Look no further than Lovebound Media, your go-to for capturing the epic moments of your wedding. With Lovebound, it's not just about photos and videos, it's about creating a story that screams you. From the jaw-dropping shots to the heart-pounding video edits, they'll make sure your wedding day is nothing short of legendary. So if you're ready to say I do to memories that'll make you feel like a king, hit them up at Lovebound Media today. Let's make magic happen. Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let Jay Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
There is only one constant in the universe, and that's change.
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists.
I'm sure many of you remember the incredibly low interest rates that were available only a few years ago. Well, things changed. Now rates are higher. But would you believe me if I told you there was a time when people were paying double-digit rates? And that's the thing. Everything changes. Rates go up, rates go down. So if you're waiting for the perfect time when rates drop before you buy a home, you might miss out on the home you really want. So when you think about it, what's a thing today might not be a thing tomorrow. See? Change is good. I'm Brent Rasmussen. Call me at Mortgage Specialists, and we can show you all the details. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$7:25 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Papillion Sanitation. It's time for our Papillion Sanitation Trash Takes of the Night. What we will do here, Dan, John, and I will all give you a take. We will put a poll up on Twitter. You will vote for who had the best. The loser will have the trashiest take of the night. Gentlemen, any volunteers to go first or second?
Me, please. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
My trash take of the night. Program, and this is to any program in the entire world. If you have a legendary head coach, let's maybe give their successor,
Predecessor? Or no, successor, yes.
successor, yeah. Let's give their successor a little bit of time to make it work within their own style. This comes directly on the heels of Kelly Harper. You may not know her, you may know her. She was the now former head coach of the Tennessee Lady Volunteers. She coached there for 5 seasons, and in 4 of them, she won 20 or more games. But, Tennessee never made it further than the Sweet 16 in her time. Let me just say, for the record, it is sort of ridiculous to fire this woman solely based on the fact that, well, Pat Summitt could do it every year.
Well, she won 8 national championships.
Yeah, your brand is big enough that maybe you can do it, but you got to give Kelly Harper a little bit of time. She is not Pat Summitt. She does not have the same exact recruiting pull that woman had because she was a legend. You have got to give Kelly Harper a little bit of time to rebuild this program in her own image. And she knows what it takes to win. Surprise, surprise, she did it underneath Summitt. Did it 3 times underneath her. I just think with any program where you have a legendary head coach, you can't jump off of that bandwagon too quickly.
Can I go next?
Cough, Nebraska. Frank Solich.
Can I go next, John?
Go for it, man.
Because I'm basically going to take the opposite approach in a different sport. You don't need to give quarterbacks 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th chances in the NFL. Sometimes Carson Wentz is just Carson Wentz, and they're not good enough to play at that level. And you don't need to risk everything to go out and mortgage your franchise for another year for a guy that couldn't get it done at 4 other stops. Not just to pile on Carson Wentz, I'm looking at the Sam Darnolds of the world as well, at the Zach Wilsons of the world.
Marcus Mariota.
You don't need to go out and give these guys a boatload of money because at one time they were a top 15 draft pick. That doesn't matter. You need to pay attention to the work that's done on the field, and you need to worry about the now and not the past, and even think about the future when picking up a quarterback through free agency. And it's not worth it to basically pawn a year off to try and find a fix later in life. You need to make the best choice for your franchise right now, and a guy that couldn't get it done at 2, 3, 4 other teams is not the answer.
Look, hey, I'm with you, man. As the guy who says don't sign your veteran quarterback to a long-term contract because it doesn't ever work out in the long run unless he's the number 1 guy in the league, I'm on board, baby.
Yeah. What's your take tonight?
The NFL is terrible in the way that it deals with its former players. I don't think this is a surprise, but the news today that former NFL cornerback Vontae Davis was found dead in his home at age 35. Now, they have not released a cause of death, but they have not mentioned anything about foul play or a break-in or anything of the sort, which leads you to a certain conclusion that I don't need to make for you. Vontae Davis famously retired at halftime of a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. We all know that CTE is a major problem with NFL players, and it's caused a number of issues for players who die far too young. And the NFL has for years swept it under the rug, tried not to deal with the problem. And the way that they treat retired players is astonishing. This is just another in a long line of players who have been forgotten about when their usefulness to the league is at an end.
Can I play devil's
advocate? Tragic, and it's sad, and something's got to be done differently. These players need medical assistance. They need evaluations. They need something. They need support. Anything but ignorance in this situation.
And I'm with you to some degree, and I think more needs to be done. But I think more needs to be done while guys are in the league, from a standpoint of putting things in place to have this taken care of after they're done. Because part of the problem is, for guys to get help with CTE, they have to want to get help. They have to let people know there's a problem. And I get the stance that you're taking because they don't do enough. And I agree with that. But for a lot of the situations, I wonder how much more can be done, because they can't just assume everybody has CTE, right? Like that, like you have to have people tell you there's a problem. You have to have people willing to get help, and you have to have people that know there's something wrong. Because that's the biggest problem with a lot of these CTE issues is a lot of people don't understand what they're going through either. And I don't know how you fix that, but I think there needs to be more things put in place for, and I maybe incentive is the wrong word, but we'll give you kickback, we'll give you insurance, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, if you do all of these things on a regular basis while you're here and after you leave. Like, check in with the Players Association, go to therapy, do these type of things that will benefit while you're there. So it gives them a reason to come back and talk to the Players Association. It gives them a reason to talk to people that can make an executive decision, say this guy needs some help. This guy may need to be evaluated for you can't test for CT while somebody's alive, but evaluated for their mental capacity, evaluated for some things that may be able to help them. Because I know the NFL is getting killed right now for this, but I really don't know how you can help if somebody's not willing to get the help. You know what I mean?
Doing something, anything would be better than what they're doing now, though.
5 years ago, I'd agree with that, but I think they're doing enough now. I think enough is out there that they're trying to do something. I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but, and obviously nobody knows the situation, but I don't know if if Vontae Davis did pass away from CTE, I don't know if somebody with CTE issues would be cognizant enough to go in and try to get the help. You know what it's one of those things that if you don't know there's a problem, it's hard to fix it.
The argument that I would make, Jimmy, is that when you hear about the factors that go into someone having CTE and the signs that they notice while they are still alive, it's fairly obvious that you have something wrong with you because you are getting intense headaches.
Can I throw something out there?
Migraines on top of migraines. And you're having violent mood swings from happy to sad to mad. You know, there are a lot of signs that seem like normal mental health things, quite possibly, that could be helped with therapy. But really, I think what it comes down to is the NFL needs to stop denying what's going on.
Can I throw something out there? Let me throw a scenario out there, because I think we would all agree. And I don't think it's a one-of-one case. And I hate to talk ill about people, but we're all pretty sure Antonio Brown has CTE, right? Like some form of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that he has CTE. I know he's got attitude problems.
He's definitely
claims he has CTE.
Yeah, clearly. How does the NFL fix that? See what I mean? It's such a catch-22.
It's actually not that hard. That's what bothers me is
The NFL's not offering to fix it though.
It's not that hard of a problem to resolve because, like you said, they need to be checking with the Players Association. They need to have like health insurance way past the time.
Okay, now think
they're within the league.
Think
they
about
need
it.
to go to mental health.
Think about
counsel.
Antonio Brown and think about his likeliness to do that. It's,
Sure.
yeah, it's just one of those things that,
Right.
yeah, they should be doing more, but how much more can they actually do if those people aren't willing to accept the help?
Look, I think Antonio Brown's an extreme case. He's an extreme individual. There was no indication that Vontae Davis was an extreme
Sure.
personality
Agreed.
like that.
And if you want to bring out case by case specifics, Jimmy, then let's flip it over to the other side of the coin. Junior Seau,
Sure.
a man who knew exactly what was going on with him, knew exactly the problem that he was having. And he took the steps to make sure that someone could find out that that was the problem that he was having.
Right.
Do you think that he didn't want to try mental health counseling? Because I can tell you that he did. His wife and his sons all said that he had extreme mood swings, and his wife was like, you need to see someone about this. This is not the Junior that we know.
Do you think that the NFL does a better job of trying to handle this stuff 12 years later now than they did 12 years ago when Junior Seau died? Because I do. I mean, the fact that it gets talked about, the fact that we're talking about it now tells you that something is being done. I don't know how you like it. And obviously this is above my pay grade to figure it out too, but I just don't know how you fix this. Like
You don't have to know how to figure it out. The NFL needs to know how to figure it out. We're not medical professionals. We don't run a multi-billion-dollar business. It's not our job to figure it out. They need to figure it out.
Yeah, I just it's such a weird situation to where I fully agree with you, and I'm not trying to argue for argument's sake, but it's such a weird situation where, like, if you're a bookkeeper for 40 years, like your previous employer isn't checking on your mental health, right? Like, obviously it's not. It's
No one's coming in and smashing those
Yeah.
books into your brain.
It's apples to rhinoceroses. It's not comparable at all. But it's just one of those things that I think it's still such a new concept for the NFL that they're still trying to figure out how to do it. Now, I think they really need to speed the process up because to what started this discussion, people are dying.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to give the multi-billion-dollar corporation a life raft here. But I really give them a little bit of leeway here. But yeah, I'm with you. Something needs to be done. I just don't know if you can point at 1, 2, 3 things and say, here's the fix and this is how you do it. Because I don't think every case is the exact same, as it's usually not with mental health.
With medicine of any kind.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, if you missed our trash takes tonight, check them out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Forsman's Finest Decks. Woo! See that Mercury? It's on the rise. And if you want your place to be the hangout spot this spring, let Forsman's Finest Decks come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and add that something that your house has been missing. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream deck built this spring. We're going to call a little bit of an audible. We're going to break down the NCAA tournament when we come back here on 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Pepper Jack's Grill. It's late night. The work day is over. It's the first day of the work week. And maybe you had a little bit of a light lunch that didn't hold you over and your stomach is rumbling. There's only one place to cure that hunger. It's Pepper Jack's Grill. They've got 10 great locations. My personal favorite, it's a steak rice bowl with grilled onions, mushrooms, and green peppers on the top of it. Throw just a little bit of light cheese. Make sure you get some spicy ranch. It's so good it should be illegal to sell. Pepper Jack's Grill. They've got 10 great locations in the Omaha area. Stop by tonight and grab dinner.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career and not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at bubruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com. It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with after hours. Thursday is spaghetti night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.643 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Papillion Sanitation. If you're looking for a new career, head over to papillion-sanitation.com. Become a driver tonight. The Sweet 16 and Elite 8 wrapped up this weekend. The tournament was fantastic. We want to hit on a couple points before we get to the Final Four. And I want to touch on the fact that we talked a lot this season about how fun it would be around here if Nebraska, Creighton, and UNO all made the tournament and what that would look like. Looks a lot like what the state of North Carolina is dealing with right now. Yeah, North Carolina is the number 1 seed in their region. You obviously have an NC State team that had to win their conference tournament to get into the dance like UNO would have. And then you have a Duke team that was kind of overachieving at every level and makes it all the way to the Elite Eight. And now NC State is in the Final Four.
But Wake Forest was in the first 4 out.
And Wake Forest was in an 11 seed to play in for.
East Carolina didn't make it.
Yeah. So when we talk about
the Charlotte 49ers also didn't make it.
You tried 49ers. Good effort. But
Just naming colleges in North Carolina now. Elon Phoenix didn't make it either.
App State, where you at? It's incredible that those 3 teams that are the main 3 teams in the state have that great of a run, and then 2 of them in the Elite Eight and 1 in the Final Four, and it's not even the one that's the number 1 seed. It's just tremendous, and there's been so many storylines. I mean, you can argue that DJ Burns is maybe the story of the tournament, and
put some respect on his name.
The uniqueness of him and how he's just kind of dominated this tournament has been incredibly impressive.
The big vending machine.
I got a couple of vending machines in my garage that aren't that big, actually. But we went into this weekend with all 4 number 1 seeds still intact, all 4 number 2 seeds still intact. Houston loses Jamal Shed, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin for them with the ankle injury and all the other injuries they were already dealing with. And 1 seed goes down. Clemson's size inside was really the difference maker in their game against Arizona. The first 2 seed go down. Armando Bacot and RJ Davis have probably the first worst half of their entire career. And down goes another number 1 seed, and then Marquette had all sorts of issues as well, and no answer for DJ Burns, and a 2 seed loses there. Obviously, Tennessee knocks off Creighton, and then Purdue and Zach Edey are able to get the job done against Gonzaga and Tennessee. And now you also got UConn, who's just beating folks by 40, and it doesn't even look competitive. What was the big takeaway for you this weekend, John, in the Sweet 16 Elite Eight games?
Well, for me, it's still Purdue, because I did not believe in this Purdue team going in. Then I watched them play Grambling and Utah State, and it was just like, okay, this Purdue team's got a different level of focus right now, and Zach Edey is just manning people. Like, that team just looks locked in. It looks like they want vengeance for what happened last year when they had the unceremonious early exit. Man, I don't know who's beating that team. And every time in that game against Tennessee, every time it looked like they were okay. This is it. This is when Tennessee's going to run away. They would come back with a run and just finish it off at the end, not allowing themselves to be beaten.
Yeah, Zach Edey scored 40 in the last 10 for Purdue, by the way.
He's averaging 30 a game in the tournament. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I listen. I hate rooting for teams at this point in the tournament. And honestly, I actually just need Alabama, who we didn't even mention a minute ago, to beat UConn, and I win all 6 of the brackets I'm in. So if that could happen, that would be great. So I guess I'm rooting for that. But the basketball fan in me really wants to see Purdue versus UConn, because I think they're the 2 best teams.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what would be best for everybody.
I think that's what we're going to get too.
Yeah, I do as well. I think if you need an equalizer for DJ Burns, it's probably Zach Edey. And let me say this, because obviously I was sitting courtside for that game, the Gonzaga Purdue game. We don't give Zach Edey enough credit for the absolute mauling that he takes inside. He literally looks like he plays offensive line by the time he's done. If you go back and look at the end of that game, he had gouges, not even scratches, gouges in his arms, up and down both sides, and they were both black and blue by the time he wrapped up against Tennessee. And just
everybody thinks you can beat him by being physical with him,
which is not the way to go, and which is the real, like, obviously for my own personal interest, but I think getting the chance to see Ryan Kalkbrenner, who is like the human opposite effect of Shaq, who doesn't foul or touch anybody and is able to play defense that way, versus somebody that's that physical. I think it would have been an intriguing matchup to get Ryan Kalkbrenner and the way he uses space to play defense versus Zach Edey, who uses physicality to play offense. I think it would have been a really intriguing matchup.
I think it's also interesting that before the tournament started, everybody was quick to dump on Clemson, how they were so overseeded. They didn't deserve to be a 6. They were a garbage team. Everyone picked New Mexico. It was
the average 6'10" across the board, by the way, in height.
Like, I think New Mexico was the most popular first-round upset pick, right?
Sure,
like, everybody was on New Mexico,
them and
me included.
James Madison.
And then all Clemson does is go all the way to the Elite Eight.
in a dominant fashion too. By the way, it wasn't like they were ever out of games,
and came up just short against Alabama.
They dominated Arizona start to finish in that game. It wasn't even close. Like Arizona tried battling back into it, but Clemson's size was really the difference, and it wasn't even debatable.
They did it a lot of the way with their best player in foul trouble. And PJ Hall was in foul trouble in every game they played, and they still got all the way to the Elite Eight. That was an amazing run by Clemson. I don't think you can overstate that. But like you say, like UConn looks like who is beating that team right now? It's just they look so much better than everybody else.
Yeah,
we'll see once because I think they're going to beat Alabama, and I think Purdue is going to finally end the NC State run. Now, I said that about Marquette.
Every other team NC State's played.
Yeah, I said Marquette was going to end the run for NC State. So don't trust me. I'm really bad at picking games. But it just feels like there's a collision course here between UConn and Purdue.
Speaking about being bad at picking games, it's exactly what John Schreiner will do next. Make sure you stick around if you missed that segment. Check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Going Vertical Basketball Academy. It is the premier training facility in the Midwest, working with athletes as young as kindergarten all the way up into the pros. And if you have a player in your life that could benefit from getting some extra work on the hardwood, check out goingverticalomaha.com to register them for individual or group lessons today. We'll be right back, winning you some money here on The Zone.
Hey everybody, it's John Schreiner here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. You know you can get your suit game right at Jerry Ryan, but did you know that they also have all your Creighton gear that you need? Brands like Mizzen & Main, Johnny O, Cutter & Buck, whatever you need. Although basketball season's over, there's still time to get your Creighton baseball gear on. Baseball season's in full swing right now. So stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear on 78th and Dodge. If you need a suit, get your suit game right. If you need some Creighton gear, get your closet looking good today.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly, trash, or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now, get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Closing down shop on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Papillion Sanitation. If you are looking for a new career, it's time to go become a driver. They have up to a $10,000 stick-around bonus, and they'll help you get a CDL even if you don't have one. We're all going to give you some winners to win you some money tonight. Anybody want to start us off? John?
Yep, I'm going to give you 3 soccer picks for tomorrow. A rare big slate in the EPL tomorrow, so I'm going all soccer all day. Your boy doesn't have much to do tomorrow, so probably going to be watching a lot of soccer tomorrow as the Premier League gets back underway after an international break. So,
does John live a better life than I do?
John lives a better life than
The
most.
answer is yes.
So, okay, tomorrow, Fulham at Nottingham Forest. And the experts are predicting a draw here because Fulham is actually the favorite, and they're still plus 165 on the road. So take Fulham over Nottingham Forest. Then Bournemouth, Crystal Palace. Bournemouth at home. They beat Crystal Palace 2-0 on the road earlier in the season. Now they get Crystal Palace at home. Take Bournemouth minus 115 on the money line. And the big one tomorrow afternoon, West Ham and Tottenham. I think this one's a stalemate. Plus 290 on the draw.
Dan?
Yes, and I am sticking stateside. The Minnesota Twins are going out to Milwaukee tomorrow. Get them on the run line. They'll win by more than 1.5 runs. Same with Baltimore, because Kansas City is making the trip up there, and I do not think the Royals are going to be that good of a team this year. Also, speaking of not good teams and good teams, the Cincinnati Reds and Philadelphia Phillies will go over 9 runs tomorrow. And then tonight, for your super duper pick, Aaron Judge or Juan Soto to hit a home run versus the Diamondbacks. That is at plus 150 right now. Hammer it.
Hammer the Yankees, too. Take them over the Diamondbacks tonight. I'm actually taking both Juan Soto and Aaron Judge to hit home run. That's plus 480 for both to do so. Give me the Mariners, minus 105 on the money line against the Guardians. What do we do on this show, Dan Campion?
Fade the A's.
Give me the Boston Red Sox over the A's as well. If you missed any of the show tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620 was brought to you by Pyramid Roofing. If it gets a little drafty in your house, maybe they're starting to get a little fog behind those windows when it gets warm outside. That's not supposed to happen. Let the number one contractors in Omaha come diagnose the problem and give you the answers that you're looking for. Head over to pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. For Dan Campion and John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy National Sour Bread Dough Day. Sourdough bread.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career and not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at bubruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with after hours. Thursday is spaghetti night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Hey fellas, listen up. Are you or someone you know ready to make that big day unforgettable? Look no further than Lovebound Media, your go-to for capturing the epic moments of your wedding. With Lovebound, it's not just about photos and videos, it's about creating a story that screams you. From the jaw-dropping shots to the heart-pounding video edits, they'll make sure your wedding day is nothing short of legendary. So if you're ready to say I do to memories that'll make you feel like a king, hit them up at Lovebound Media today. Let's make magic happen.
Sick of battling overuse injuries that keep you out of the game? Or are you too run down and exhausted to make the late season push? Stop out at West Omaha Cryo, specializing in modalities like cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen, Normatec compression, and full body light therapy. They'll have you back to competing at the highest level in no time. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and voted best of Omaha 4 years in a row, they're a game changer. Head to westocryo.com to book your visit today.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential.